All right, so let's get into this. Let me just adjust this camera slightly here. All right, so just to confirm, this is the last show of the year. We're not going to be back until the Wednesday, the 3rd of January. So, with the show, I am contemplating and going to do some research on it over Christmas, and we might be moving the show to YouTube. Okay, so everything that we're looking at, we're thinking about whether we can set something up on there, and as next year comes, I'm going to be moving more towards LinkedIn and YouTube in terms of my platforms. So if I can go live on YouTube, if I can do what we're doing but here, then we're going to look at using that platform, but it's not definite. And I wouldn't just quickly do it on the 3rd of January. We'd let everybody know, and we would set it up. So I'm going to share with you four key learning lessons that I've got this year. There was going to do 5, but I thought they'd just take too long. There's a lot more lessons than just 4, but I think these 4 have been like primary. Do you know what I mean? These 4 have really made the impact, and actually, these 4 lessons have come in the last 5 months. A lot has changed since August, for the better, I should add. So the first one was to value myself in a professional role, but I should stay in that professional role. So I think for too long, I haven't valued what I do enough. And over the last 5 years, we've run programs, we've put lots of content out, we've helped lots of people. And one of the things I was getting really frustrated in within June was I was falling out of love with the job. And I was falling out of the love with the job simply because, number one, I wasn't getting the commitment levels that I really wanted from guys about them changing the way that they live their lives. I wasn't charging what I felt like I was worth or what the program was doing. So I undervalued myself. So I kept on waking up every single morning and feeling quite low in terms of self-value. And then I come across a guy who he's not actually my mentor, but he almost acts like one. And I just consume his stuff on social media, and very much like what you guys do with me, you invest your time, your energy and focus in to listen to me to help you better. I did the same with him. I bought his 2 books and it completely changed the way that I thought about my business and run my professional life. So much so that I built up monumental value for myself again. Monumental value for myself. And it allowed me to do a couple of things. Number one, it started allowing me to charge what I felt like I was worth. So we tripled our prices. And for some people are like, well, how can you do that? And I'm like, I can do that because I'm worth that. Because I've been working with people since 2007, because I've got nearly 16 years worth of experience. We change lives, we change businesses, we save marriages, we save lives. And the second thing is that I've become more cutthroat with people who make excuses, and for people that are not on the same path and not committed. I literally have become super, super cutthroat with that, because my time, energy and focus, the more that I try to chase someone's kind of sort of commitment, the more it almost withdraws me away from the people that are committed. And I no longer have time, energy and focus to be able to on people that are not committed, that if they're not ready to change, if they're not going to listen, if they're not going to take responsibility, then you have to go and figure out yourself. And it's been great to be able to do that, whereas before I was trying to I'm slipping into another lesson here, so I'm going to stop there. All right, so number one was to value myself, and to value myself for what I'm worth, what we do, the things that we do within our life. And suddenly, like that reflecting in the investment people made in us, and you're in or you're not. Do you know what I mean? So doing less is actually more. So lesson 2, doing less is actually more. Okay. And I kept on thinking all of the time that I had to do lots of different programs, that I had to do lots of different runs, that I had to sign up to loads, and I had to cram in so much. And because I was cramming in so much, what it was slowly doing was mentally, emotionally, and physically draining the energy, the spark, the drive, the ambition to want to do well. Okay. And I was completely saturating myself, so much so that it become unenjoyable. The journey become unenjoyable, and that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. And I've come to learn that in this last quarter alone, that less is more, and I've done less and enjoyed it more. I've been more productive. I haven't burnt out, apart from like the final part where there was just so much going on, and I've done things better. And it's allowed me to think clearer, and it's allowed me to enjoy the process rather than force the process. And that's the thing, right? When you force the process, it becomes unenjoyable. You know, you're just doing it because you have to do it instead of enjoying waking up and building a project or building a launch or getting ready for a run or getting ready for a jiu-jitsu tournament. It's kind of like, man, you can build up to it. When you're trying to do everything all at once, it becomes ruthless. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so needing to be ruthless. Number 3 was being ruthless with my priorities. So one of the things that I've come to learn is that the level I want to get in my career, I can't get there yet because I still have monumental responsibilities as a full-time dad. So I can't achieve these things professionally yet. Because I've still got all these monumental responsibilities. So I have to be ruthless with my priorities, okay? I have to be able to, I have to be ruthless with my time, my energy, and my focus. And I have to be realistic with what I can achieve with that time, that energy, and that focus in a professional sense and a personal sense. So when I'm on daddy daycare, I have to be on daddy daycare. I can't be working and trying to be daddy daycare because that's the time that I need to go and cherish to be a dad, which means that takes me away from building the business. And it's like, you have to accept that. And I was having conflict with that before for most of the year. And that conflict was causing me to like be frustrated, be annoyed, be angry all of the time. And I think it's really, really important to understand that actually, you know, we've got to make sure that we understand what those priorities are. And at this chapter in my life, I can't go all in like I want to just yet. When Darcy goes back to nursery in September, I'm going to be able to have that more time. I'm going to be able to have more dedicated, focused time to be able to do that. Do you know what I mean? So needing to be ruthless with your priorities and knowing what those priorities are has been a huge lesson this year. That's 2, isn't it? Okay, so So the last one is that I can't save everyone. So number 4 is that I can't save everyone. This is where I was kind of slipping into it before. I've had to become ruthless with my time, my energy and focus, and with the fact that I can understanding that I'm only going to save about 10% of the guys that come into our world. Probably not even 10%, to be honest. My first figure was 5%. There is a misplaced priority. Okay, there is a misplaced priority for men in terms of themselves, in terms of what they want to achieve in their lives, in terms of where the time, energy, and focus is going. And I would say that only 5% of the men that ever come into our world are the ones that are really dedicated to making something of themselves, changing themselves, overcoming procrastination, building self-belief, like changing the way that they are. And I have to be utterly cutthroat with the 95% of the other ones, because what I can no longer do is try to convince or chase up people that make excuses and don't show up. And this is, I think, in some respects, more of a protection for myself in terms of my own time, energy, focus, my own mental health, emotional health. And it's a case now that if you're committed, then I'm going to make sure that you win. And if you're not committed, I'm going to make sure that I'm not going to waste my time, energy and focus trying to make you committed. You have to be able to come into this program, or anyone that's coming into our world, they have to be willing to show up. I'm going to do my 50%, but you have to be able to do your 50%. And I think where I'm guilty is that I was doing 60, 75% of the work, expected like to try and get those other guys to get like the 25, 30% to get them over the line, right? And that's a huge lesson that I learned. It was huge lessons that I learned, and it was making sure that like we protect ourselves, and that you have to do that as well within your world. You know, there's going to be people that you're trying to save that just don't want to be saved, who just can't be saved, and I think it's important to recognise that. Do you know what I mean? I did have a fifth one here, and it was about how self-belief, I think, is the key to success. The more you believe in yourself, you know, the better decisions and choices that you can make will define the direction that you're going to go. All of that good jazz. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching for the year. I really appreciate you obviously watching this year. The show has gone ups and downs, and I think part of the reason I want to move to YouTube is that the algorithm in the Facebook is just so inconsistent. Like 1 minute we've got 200 people watching, the next minute we've got 10. And I think like the way that Facebook shows it out is just, it's oversaturated. And I just need to really develop this show on a more stable platform. And I think that's going to be YouTube. So I will obviously keep you posted on the socials. We're going to be back here on Facebook on the 3rd of January. Once I've done a couple of tests over the Christmas period, we'll have a look, we'll make a decision, and then we'll either stay with Facebook or we will move over probably around February time to YouTube. And I think that's it. I really hope you have a great Christmas. I really hope you have a great New Year. I'm working today and tomorrow, and then I'm sort of literally disappearing for 7 months, for a week, for 7 days. Have a great time with your families. Thanks for all your support watching the show. I hope you have a good one, and we'll catch up with you soon.